Hello you guys, and happy Monday. I have an abundance of things to tell you. I was hoping to have like a 100% solid answer, but we have not received the phone call yet. So I'm going to give you basically like our ultimatum, and we're gonna go with it. I'm sure you guys are sick of me talking about this, but we're finally getting to the end where things are getting very real and things are going to greatly change. A lot of it hopefully for the better. I think that's kind of like the scary thing about taking risks, is that you don't know what the outcome is going to be, and that was exactly how it was when we got the opportunity to move to Utah and, you know, take on an advance in our careers. It just didn't work out, and that's okay. But before I kind of, you know, jump into that, I want to back up a little bit. So, you know, this past year, just how stressed Kenny has been. His job has really consumed him, and that is kind of all he knows how to be, is manager. You know, he's at work 95% of the time. He's home long enough to sleep for 6 or 7 hours through the night, and other than that, he's at work. So like, he literally does not know who he is anymore. And he has expressed that to me over the past few months, because we have really started to, I wouldn't say butt heads, but I have come to him and explained to him just how I've been feeling, and that I feel like our relationship is really falling apart. I don't want this to come off as like a way of like, oh, he's working so much, he doesn't love me, because I know he loves us. I know he loves our family. I have expressed plenty that I have been here to support him through everything that his job has put him through. I have taken on, you know, the kids, the housework, everything at home, and in between, I have tried to take care of the best that I can so that he really does only have to worry about work. But it was getting to a point where like, I just didn't know how much longer I could go about this. Our relationship was really struggling. There was really no affection. There was really, I mean, there was affection. I don't know. Like, you know, we would kiss each other goodnight, you know, kiss each other before he would leave for work in the morning, you know, say that we love each other. But those in between, there was absolutely nothing. And it's just because he was so exhausted and he felt essentially like a zombie. He had no energy. He's to the point where he's just so burnt out that he doesn't really have the energy to do anything past being a manager, if that makes sense. Like, he doesn't have the energy to come home and really be dad, or to be, you know, boyfriend or whatever, which is understandable. Like, I understand completely, and I've tried to support him, but it's gotten to a point where we were starting to fight more, and little things would upset me that really shouldn't even matter, but it's like, because I was so hungry for his attention and his affection, and just to be loved the way that I was the previous year when things weren't so stressful. Like, I craved that, and I needed that, and it just kind of, a lot of days, you know, when you go through months and months and months of that, of, you know, not seeing your partner and then not having that affection and stuff, you kind of question, like, oh, well, you know, does he love me? Like, he must love me. Like, if he didn't love me, he wouldn't be doing this. Like, he would, you know, quit his job or go back home, or, you know, do whatever he had to do. Like, he wouldn't be here. So it's like, I know he loves me, but there are days where I'm just like, I don't know. Does he? He doesn't really tell me. He doesn't really show me. And, you know, I try to do my part where it's like, you know, I know he's having a stressful day, so like, let me shoot him a text and let him know that I am so proud of him, and that he is so loved, and that I adore him, and all this stuff. But then I wouldn't really get anything in return. As time has gone on, I've kind of pieced those things together. Like, the other day, you know, I was texting him, and like, something as simple as like, oh, I'll be waiting for you, and I put a kissy face because he was like, I might be closing, I might be home at 5, I'm not sure. So I was like, okay, I'll be waiting for you, and put a kissy face. Normally, the Kenny that I know would be like, okay, like I love you, babe, or something like that. But I got absolutely no response. And when I did get a text back, it was something in regards to work. And at first I was really frustrated because I'm just like, wow, like he's been gone all day and he hasn't even thought once to text me that he loves me. And I know I can do the same, but it's like, why should I always be the one to reach out? And so instead of like, you know, lashing out on him or something, I tried to just really look at the situation and remember that because he's a manager and he's manager 95% of the time, he doesn't know how to talk to me anymore. Like even through text, he doesn't know how to talk to me because he's just in work mode all the time. His phone is constantly blowing up, talking to other managers, other coworkers. I don't even know if that makes sense, but it's like just because he's in such work mode that it's like he doesn't know how to essentially be anything but manager. And he has expressed to me that he doesn't feel like himself. But over the past month, like if I'm being completely honest, we've been fighting a lot. Like our relationship itself, it's not problematic at all. Like there's really no problems because he's gone all the time and work is interfering with home life and it's essentially tearing our family apart because, you know, he doesn't really see Bennett and has missed a lot of Bennett's first year, and that makes me really, really sad. Like it makes me so sad. But it's like if we're not happy as a couple, how can we be happy as a family? And I know marriage is hard. We're not married, but the best way I can put that is like marriage is hard. But if you love that person, you will keep at it, you will work, you will do anything you can to fix it, essentially. And that is where I am in my headspace, is I'm like, okay, like something has to change. So I text Kenny one day and I was like, I have a plan. And he called me a few hours later from work and he's like, what's your plan? And I was like, we can't do this anymore. The constant arguing, you're starting to pull a wall up between us, and you're shutting down on me, and this just isn't healthy. Like your mental health is at stake, our family is at stake, everything. Is that even the right term? I feel like that doesn't sound right. Have you guys ever said something you're like, that doesn't really sound right? Is that the saying though? Before we had this conversation, he had applied for a few jobs in the Idaho area and they got back to him, but he never set up an interview or anything. And so I was like, I want you to call those companies, see if you can set up even a phone interview. Whatever you can do. I know change is scary. Nobody wants to do it, but you have to be open to it. Because I know he doesn't want to leave his current company. He loves his job. He loves what he does. But the circumstances are not okay. The amount of hours that he's working is not okay. His mental health is not okay. Our relationship is not okay. And all of that is affecting our family, and that is not okay. And there needs to be a change, whether it be we move to a different apartment and have a little bit of cheaper rent, and then you maybe find a different job in the meantime, you know what I mean? Like you search for different jobs. We can do that. Or we can move back to Idaho and just completely start over, because what is happening now is not okay. I'm sure you can hear, but Kenny's out there right now. So if you hear Bennett crying, like I'm not ignoring him, Kenny is out there. I feel like just this past month, like everything has just hit me and it's just kind of crashing down. And it's been a lot of stress on the both of us, between stress of, you know, him working all the time, and then my stress of home life and the kids, and trying to be his support and be, you know, the positive of it all for everybody's sake. Like it just gets to be a lot, and it just, my heart was starting to become very heavy. I had that talk with him of something needs to change. I don't know what, but something needs to change, because we cannot live like this. We cannot have our family be going through this. The kids don't deserve it, because if we keep going at it like this, it's eventually going to become a toxic environment, and I do not want that for our family, because I love Kenny with all my heart, and like Kenny is who I see my future with. Like I already treat him like he would be my husband. I see us as if we're already married. I don't treat him any, you know, less than that. And so his mental health, it is so important to me, and to where he is just feeling so just sad and depressed and overwhelmed and stressed and all the things. I'm like as a partner, I cannot just sit back and watch this any longer. So I wasn't even trying to make it about our relationship. I guess I should, you know, throw that out there, is that I am doing this for the sake of our family and for Kenny's mental health. A few days go by, and as you know, we were looking at a condo or something, just like a town over, and we couldn't get a hold of them. And maybe that's why. Maybe whatever higher power is out there has a plan for us. I don't know what. I kind of have an idea. We have a general idea, but a few days go by and Kenny tells me that there's a company that has reached out to him in the Idaho area, but they would like to do a physical interview. And so I don't remember how I got talking to my sister, but we've kind of rekindled a little bit. And so I was talking to her on the phone, and she was like, oh, like my boyfriend works at this company, which is essentially like the same thing. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And she's like, yeah, like he loves it there, and you know, I think Kenny would really like it. And she's like, you know what, let me see if I can't talk to my boyfriend and see if we can't like set up an interview or something. Like, we'll talk to his boss and, you know, see if we can't get something going. And I thought that would be awesome, because this job, it would be for a service tech. I'm obviously not going to say exactly where, but it would be right up Kenny's alley. He loves to be hands-on. He loves the challenge. And I feel like at his current job, he's already kind of topped out. Like, he's already manager. You really can't branch out more than that. I mean, you can, but it's like you already know everything. So he doesn't really have that drive anymore because he's topped out. He gets to buy tools. He doesn't have to be a manager, and the pay and benefits are awesome. In a matter of just a few days, Kenny got the job. We did a lot of talking back and forth between my sister's boyfriend and his boss, and he called up Kenny. He was like, okay, what's your experience? Do you know this, this, and this? And he's like, yeah, I mean, kind of, like, I'm sure I could learn. And he's like, all right, I have one bay left and it is yours. And I just thought that was amazing. I know this company is really great, and my sister's boyfriend, it seems to really like his job. This job would be Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. He has the weekends off, and it's like exactly what he needed. I feel like this is the most perfect opportunity. So although we will be moving back to Idaho, I feel like this is the direction that we do need to go. I'm so sad to leave Utah. I've cried multiple times over it, because I don't know if you guys have been able to tell, but aside from the stress, this has been the absolute happiest I've ever been, and I'm still happy. As long as I have my family and Kenny's mental health can get so much better, like, I couldn't ask for more. So Kenny's jumped on this opportunity. He already has a new job. He starts May 6th, and he put in his 5-day notice at what's now his old job. Yesterday was his last day, and he told me when he walked out of that store, it was like 1,000 pounds was just lifted right off of his shoulders. He's like, I could breathe again, knowing that I get to just leave that all behind me and never have to go back. So I'm so happy for him and our family. The only downfall, and this is where my mental health is like kind of freaking out a little bit, more or less for my kids. There's a housing shortage. I don't know if that's everywhere, but in Idaho, at least the area that we're looking at, places are going so fast. Like, there was a house that we were looking at, we're like, okay, maybe we'll apply for that. 2 days later, gone. That's kind of sucky. And a lot of the places aren't available until the end of May. But it's like, Kenny already has a job. Our lease is up here in a matter of a couple days. We've applied for a house. We're waiting on that phone call hopefully today to know if we've been approved or not. But it's really nice, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's an actual house. It has a backyard, it has a basement, a garage, all the space that we need. It is the same price as this apartment, but like, we get a whole freaking house. So that would be super nice. And Kenny, a little bit over time, because he has like the training period, which is 90 days. And then after that 90 days, he gets a pretty hefty raise. And then like after the 1-year mark, when he becomes like a certified tech and everything, he can make really great money. So I mean, that would be fine. Like, rent really isn't that big of a stressor, and we have a good amount of money like stashed away just from like taxes and stimulus and stuff like that. So it's like we have a couple months rent saved. That place is not available until the end of May. Most places aren't available till May, June, July, August. So in the meantime, we obviously can't go homeless. Like, we have kids, so we will be living with Kenny's mom and her husband, so I guess Kenny's stepdad. The only issue is that there's already 4 people living there, so we would become a household of 8. We would not have our own space. We'd be living in her living room basement, and there's 2 dogs there. Hendrix is allergic to dogs, and just the whole situation really stresses me out. And it's hard to know that like we're essentially losing home, and the kids won't have, you know, their own space, their ability to do whatever. So we're gonna have to put a lot of our stuff into a storage unit. I've cried a lot. I've cried a lot of tears over this, and it's just the pure mom guilt. I'm not gonna cry. I think a lot of it just stems from like I have always had that independence piece instilled in me of like never being able to depend on anybody else, and so this is the first time I've had to fully depend on somebody, which is Kenny. And so because I have nothing to back myself up on, I can't just be like, oh, it's fine, like I can get this taken care of and like we can have a house and I'll get it figured out and stuff. It's like I have no answers, I have no options, I have no nothing. Like this is the step that we're gonna have to take. So I'm hoping that it's only for a month, maybe. I take that back. The house that we're looking at is available mid-May, so if we get that house, which I don't know if we will, I'm really not holding my breath. I'm putting faith out into the universe of just how badly we need this. So I mean, it would be available, you know, mid-month, so we'd only be at his mom's for like 2 weeks, which wouldn't be bad. Like I can manage with that. But then it's like, okay, well, if we're there and Kenny's at work, what the heck am I gonna do? Like, am I just gonna sit here in a place that like isn't home? I can't really do YouTube because, you know, I pick up the camera and talk about day-to-day life and what we're doing and all the things. What would I even do for content? Especially because there's 4 other people living there, and it's like I want to respect their privacy, you know? So it's like thinking about all this, like I am scared. I've never had to put so much faith into one decision with not knowing the outcome, the unknown. And it's scary because it's like I feel like I know this is the step that we need to take. I know that Kenny's excited. I mean, he's scared too. Like, he's obviously not, like, this isn't our ideal situation at all, but it's like it's the next step that we need to take. And he's excited about his job, and I'm excited for him. So it's like, I guess I'm just kind of sad because it's like we're losing our home, our space. I essentially have to step back from YouTube for a little bit, and it's like I just feel like I'm losing a lot, but I know it's only temporarily. So I'm doing everything I can to stay positive, especially for like Hendrix's sake, because this is such a big adjustment and he's never had to share a space with anybody. Like, I've always made sure that he had a roof over his head, which I mean, he still does. And I thank my mother-in-law for that, but it's like he's always just had his own space, his own home, his own comfort. And so I just try not to take it out on myself and just remind myself to stay positive for Hendrix's sake. And, you know, we'll get through this. It's only temporary. Also, kind of a sucky part about all of this is that Bennett's birthday is May 5th, his first birthday, and it's getting stuck right in the middle of all this. So I'm like, well, I had birthday plans for him, but that was before we found out we were moving. So I have no idea how his birthday's gonna go, and I feel really bad because it's like I didn't get to vlog his birth or the labor or anything of that, and so it's like I missed out on that, and then I'm not gonna have a possible birthday vlog for him. The overall situation, it makes me so sad, and I'm just trying to focus on the fact that maybe this is our chance to have a happy, healthy family again, and that Kenny can find himself again and be the dad and the spouse that he wants to be. It's just stressful because it's literally our last week here, and so it's like, well, if we get the place, then I can pack up most of our stuff, but if we don't and we're gonna be at my mother-in-law's for a month or two, like, then I would like to keep some of the boys' stuff out, like toys and all that. It's just such a hard situation, so it's like I don't know. So although it's not our ideal situation, I'm going to try to take you guys along, but I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. I know that once we get our own place, I'll probably come back and, you know, all the things. I plan to vlog this whole week, but, you know, I don't know how it's gonna go being at my mother-in-law's, just because there are other people there. We're not in our own space, and, you know, I don't know. I don't even know what my own mental state will be. I figured I would at least update you guys on that much to let you know that I'm hoping to be taking the step in the right direction, and that Kenny's quit his job and we're on the road to him getting his mental health back, which is so important. I'm sure you guys will know whether or not we got that place here hopefully pretty quick, or what the situation is, because I am vlogging today. Today's Monday. We are moving Thursday/Friday. You guys will at least see that much. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in our next video.